Welcome back, everybody, to the IUP Sports podcast. I'm hosting today. My name is Maurio. The reason why I'm hosting and Ramir isn't is because I am joined by the lacrosse team. We're here with Kathryn, Burke, and Emme Moss. They're very nice to come join us right after practice.
Yep.
And I cover the lacrosse team. I write the stories for them, so that's why I'm here hosting. So thank y'all for joining us.
Yeah, of course.
Like I said, practice just ended and y'all ran over here.
Yep.
How was practice today? What did y'all do? Kind of, especially after a game like this weekend against Slippery Rock. Like, what do y'all go over? What do y'all talk about? What does that look like?
So today we had film first before practice, so we kind of broke down all of our stuff from the slip game, like things we can do better, things we did good, like want to keep working on for Lock Haven. And then we went to practice kind of just focusing on, usually when it's like the day, like 2 days before a game, we kind of focus on ourselves more. So like we focus on stuff we want to like improve from slip. And then tomorrow we'll work on like actual stuff we want to do like for Lock Haven.
Is that normal for y'all? Like after a game, you kind of take one day to focus on the previous opponent, and the next day is when you really start to game plan, like for most opponents?
Yeah, that's what we kind of try to do, especially because we do what's called kind of simulation. So we'll like look at the film of what that team has tendencies of doing, and then our team actually recreates it for us as like an offense or a defense.
Okay.
So we get to practice doing those reps on like in those situations, what we're gonna see in the game.
It's like a little scout team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
How physical, and we were just talking about it like before we started, but like how physical are your practices? Like what do they look like? What's the difference between a practice in season versus one in the off season versus one like in the preseason? If that makes sense.
In season, they're still very physical. We still do a lot of running,
Yeah.
but it's more like we run in drills as opposed to like post or like preseason and like we just run sprints like.
Yeah.
But in season, it's kind of more focused on like we're running, but we're like running sevens or like we're starting at the draw and running down. So it's more like game like during the whole thing.
And off season, like when we have fall ball, when we come back in the summer, that's the most running we'll do the entire year. That's like run tests. We'll sometimes have them every couple weeks.
Yeah, like once a month.
Yeah, something like that. And
Yeah.
we're running every single practice, all practice, usually 3 to 4 times a week, sometimes 5 times a week. So, yeah, fall's the toughest, honestly.
Yeah, that's when we're really working on like getting everybody's endurance up, like getting
Okay.
everybody ready for
Yeah.
season. And then once we hit season, we're kind of at a point where like we're all in shape enough that we don't need to like run extra. We just need to keep like the shape that we're in.
And the season starts in like the beginning of February.
Yeah.
So when does fall ball? When does that kind of end? Do y'all have a little break, like during like winter break, and then when do y'all start getting back into it?
Yeah, fall ball starts the like first day we get back on campus, and
Okay.
then we usually go till about Thanksgiving break, and then we get like workout packets for Thanksgiving break, and then once we come back from Thanksgiving, we don't ever like practice just because she lets us focus on finals and everything.
Good.
So that we'll just do like runs outside of like with a partner or something, and then she'll give us a winter like workout packet as well, where we're really just working on running and like keeping the shape that we're in, and then until we come back for season.
And when does that start? Like when y'all get back from winter break?
We don't have to get back early, so
No.
whenever
Okay.
classes start, usually like
Yeah.
January 18th, 20th, something around there, we start at the same time classes start, which is really nice.
Yeah.
Because there's teams that'll have to get back like
Yeah,
2 weeks
she's-
early,
Uh-huh.
and we never have to do that, which is really good.
Well, yeah, and I know for like even some of like the fall sports, they come back in like the beginning of August, and even some winter sports, they don't even get a winter break. They might have
Yeah,
like
it's nice. We kind of get all of them actually.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
So.
how y'all get lucky.
Yeah, we're a little lucky with that.
Lacrosse team.
Yeah.
So just talk about like how the season's been so far. It's still young. Conference play really just started. So kind of what is your like initial takeaways from the first couple conference games? Like what have you really liked versus what do you think y'all can do?
Yeah, so we've obviously had a lot tougher schedule than
Sure.
we usually do this year. Usually we start off with a couple easy games that are like blowouts, and then we move into more tough games like once we're in conference, since we're in a tough conference as is. But we started with like 4 or 5 ranked teams right off the bat.
Yeah, we've
this
already
year.
played 5 ranked teams, which is like not super like normal for our like
Yeah.
out of conference play, but coach kind of wanted us to set the tone of we're good, we deserve to play good competition, and she wanted to get us ready so that we played all those hard teams, and like yes, we lost most, but we learned a lot from it, and that's kind of got us prepped to play the people like in conference that are just as good as those teams. So we're actually like prepared more than normal.
And it was competitive too for
Yeah.
most of the games. We ended with scores within 5 to 6 of most of the teams that we played, and it was honestly kind of unexpected for some of the games. And we would come back from big deficits in a lot of the games too, which was really awesome because it kind of showed that we have the potential to do it, but we just have to do it for an entire game instead of just like 2 quarters of a 4-quarter game.
Yeah, let us kind of learn through some of the just all the the little kinks that we had of like, okay, we know we can do this now, but let's do it for 60 minutes instead of 20.
Yeah, sure.
And a lot of those we call it preseason, before conference, but that is really where you get a lot of the little nooks and crannies out of your game, that maybe the adjustments that you need to make from training camp, things like that. So as someone who doesn't really watch much lacrosse, I have a question. What is a big deficit? What's a score that's okay, we really got our butts kicked? What's a score that's this is close? Do you know what I mean? Do you understand what I'm saying? Because I legitimately don't know.
Yeah, no, that's a good question. Honestly, I think what I would consider a big deficit is we always say the term 10 gold.
Yeah.
If you've been 10 gold, you've lost by 10 goals or more.
And that's also when the clock starts running. Usually lacrosse is stop clock. So once you're up by 10, it just keeps running.
Keeps running.
All right, game's over.
Yeah. So 10 gold is really bad. Obviously, honestly, within, I think anything over 6 is bad,
okay, we really have to work back.
Yeah.
What's the biggest comeback y'all been a part of? Not necessarily in college, but just in your careers in general. Can you recall?
Freshman year, Seton Hill.
Yeah.
Okay.
We've only, in our career, we're seniors now, we've only beat Seton Hill once.
So the overtime game, right?
Overtime, our freshman year, and we came back, we were down
by
I
don't even know what the deficit was.
Really?
It was a lot, but it was an insane game.
At the second half, best second half our team has ever played in the world.
It was so good. It was so good. Yeah, that was in my opinion, by far our best.
The fact that we came back and actually won
it. And a team that we never, even historically, we never really
beat them.
Can beat that team. So it was just that was an awesome game.
Yeah.
They have a really good program.
Yeah, they do.
Can you talk a little bit to the physicality in the game, especially when you get down, when either team is on either end, just kind of describe what it's especially the sticks. Are you allowed to cross check people? How does that work?
So technically you're not allowed to cross check people, but there's kind of a fine line of what certain refs allow, and we definitely get hit a lot. If you could see our arms right now, they're literally covered in bruises. A
lot of muscle bruises after the game.
Definitely. You get hit, and they try to enforce that in between the 30s now, they try to enforce you can't hit each other as hard.
Okay.
So that's lessened slightly this year, I would say, but you still get pretty beat up with just how aggressive everyone is in college, and everyone's good, so they're gonna put high pressure on everyone. So it's definitely physical, but depends game to game too.
Yeah.
I think how bad it is.
Do you ever play a team and they're just extra aggressive and extra angry, and you kind of make fun of them a little bit because they're they probably had a bad childhood?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, especially our Shepherd game this year. I got beat up during that game. My coach was I think they're targeting you. I don't know. I got wrecked a few times, but and our coach has always said they are just so they're a dirty team. They'll try to push the rules of what they can do. They had a lot of yellow cards that game.
And there's a big difference in lacrosse between a team that's just super competitive and aggressive versus dirty.
Sure.
Yeah.
And I would say Slippery Rock is a super aggressive team. We'll be sore after the game, but it'll be from exerting ourselves as opposed to getting hit as much.
Mm-hmm.
As opposed to Gannon last Wednesday was so physical.
Yeah.
That game was terrible. I got whiplash. It was not good. It was not good. Also,
When y'all playing games like that, kind of how does your mentality as a player on the field change? Are you more of just kind of try to ignore them and let the refs do the work, or are you more of for both of you a match the energy, match the intensity kind of?
I try my best to just ignore it and play around them, but there's definitely times it gets really frustrating and I want to be I just want to hit you back so bad, but definitely try to just kind of play through it. And the refs normally do pick up on it eventually and start making the calls for us. It's just you got to start sometimes we're captains too, so we are the people who are supposed to talk to the refs if they're being really dirty. So that's kind of when we'll be hey, can you please watch it? I'm getting beat up. And then
I agree with that. So I'm the same way. I don't really let myself go because it's it can be really obvious and there's they could card you out of several games depending on like how much you react to certain things.
Really?
So like that, taking a risk on something like that isn't really worth it for me. And I don't want to be known as a dirty team, so like,
we try our best to avoid that.
Stuff like that is like something that we try to avoid. But
And like y'all said, it's a fine line between dirty and aggressive. You know what I mean? And being aggressive is like, it's kind of like a controlled. You know what I mean? Like when you're dirty, like it's kind of like if you're, I would assume if you have the stick, if you're like kind of swinging it, you're like losing it versus kind of, you know what I mean?
Yeah, there's definitely, you can tell when you're like playing good defense where you're just like trying your hardest, like literally like take someone's head off.
Do y'all talk a lot of trash? Not really.
No, I feel like we're not the type. Some people on the team do. They get into it, but we're not really the two that do that much.
So y'all just be like,
I feel like
there's definitely some people that do, but
not us.
I don't know. There's nothing wrong with a little bit of like.
Our bench gets into it sometimes, which is fun for like us to like hear. Like I can hear them like all like heckling them. Like
It depends.
Talk to them a little.
It depends on what kind of trash talk. You know what I mean? Like there's like the typical like like you're bad. Like, you know what I'm saying? But there's like if you make like a really good play, you start like yelling in someone's face like that.
I've for sure done that. From last season of
playing Lockhaven, right?
Last game of the season, I scored a goal and it was like tied or something. And we were down by 1 and it was like fourth quarter, and I like dropped my stick and turned around and screamed in the girl's face.
She's like
and
staring the girl down.
There's a picture of it on Instagram.
Like, you have to do that at that point. Okay, you mentioned. So what's up with dropping the stick? What's up with that?
So they have to check. They have to check like that your stick's illegal, if it's illegal or not. So there's like a certain depth that your pocket has to be, and if it's like deeper than that, then it's technically like an illegal stick.
Okay.
And so the goal won't count. And then so they have to check it every time because like you could like loosen your strings and like that makes catching easier, shooting easier. Like they can't check the ball out of your stick as well. So
that's why they check for every goal, even if you score multiple.
Because you can change it. Really.
Okay. Because I remember like the first time I ever watched a lacrosse game. Somebody scored, and like one person threw their stick down. I was like, oh, okay, maybe everyone does it like nobody else threw their stick down.
Like a celebration.
Everyone's
like, what's going on? I'm like, what's happening here?
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. Okay, so you can loosen the strings?
Yeah, you can like make your pocket deeper if you would want to,
Have y'all ever seen that? Has that ever happened? Can you do that on accident? Like, is that?
Yeah, I've actually gotten like 3 goals in my time here taken back from me. So, and that's a whole thing. It's not only the goal doesn't count; it's a yellow card. It's 2 minutes non-releasable, and you can't play with your stick.
I was about to say.
So
you can't play with your stick.
You have to like use somebody else's. So that's happened to me a few times, which is a little brutal. I'm like, wow, and it's unintentional too. Like most of the time, like it's like I was like, wow.
Most people don't do it.
Yeah, no, it's not really ever on purpose, but it's just kind of unlucky.
Yeah.
So you mentioned that you guys are seniors in your senior year, kind of intercaptains. What has it kind of been like to take on like a captain role, a leadership role? And what's the difference between, right, you can always kind of be a leader in a sport that you play, no matter what age you are, what year you are, but kind of what's the difference in steps and taking in when you were like a freshman versus, sophomore year? And then once you become a senior, you are a captain. Kind of how have you seen yourself grow as a leader? And how have you kind of seen like the change as your leadership style?
Yeah, I would say both of us have seen a lot of playing time since our time here when we started, and because of that, it kind of, the more experience that you get on the field, it kind of like you grow into that role naturally.
Yeah.
And so when you have people looking to you because you have that experience throughout 4 years and you're on the field constantly and you've played big teams and you've had big comebacks and successful seasons, like you have the experience to lead people, and so that's kind of what I feel like we've experienced the most, and like that's how we've grown into our roles on the team. But I think also we had like really good leaders like as we were coming into these roles too. So our freshman year we had like one of the closest knit teams that like we've had all 4 years here. And, like the leadership was great. Like we were all super close and it was just a great team. So we were able to learn from things like that. And then our sophomore year was like leaders that were really great leaders, but they pushed us to be so much better than like we knew we could be. So like we got a good mix of two things that like kind of formed into like how we lead today, I would say.
Yeah, I think like over time too, like we've obviously gotten to know like everyone that we play with, and like we're like close with like everyone, but it's just kind of like a learning how everyone likes to be led, which is like a big thing we've been trying to do this year. Like we know like who wants to be yelled at to get pushed. Like our roommate Maggie, she's like, literally, please yell at me. And I'm like, okay, I got it. But like some people are like, I have to pull them aside, like, hey, you got it, you're good. Like get them out of their head and like then tell them what they need to do. And I think it's kind of, we've been really working on figuring out how to like cater to each like person but like individually this year, which like helping just that way I feel like is a change from what we used to have too.
For sure. I would agree with that too.
That's an interesting perspective that I think I've never thought of as someone who's like, obviously I've never played collegiate sports, but I played sports like when I was in high school. But like I remember by the time I was a junior and a senior in basketball, I was like loud, like yelling, like screaming, trying to get people hyped up. So what's it like kind of trying to manage that? You know, you have some players that you know that they want to be, like you said, yelled at or hyped up. And you have other players who maybe not necessarily can't handle that, but you know that that's not going to fully help maximize them. So how do you manage that?
Yeah. I would say as a team, like, if we're trying to pump ourselves up in the locker room or for a game, like, if I'm screaming in everyone's faces, like, everyone's getting pumped up.
Okay.
Like, that's the type of thing that it, like, riles everyone up. But if it's individually, like, seeing your teammate, like, be down on themselves on the field, and it might be someone that, like, they're pissed at themselves, you know, you can be like, oh, well, you're pissed, so I can yell at you because, like, you're the type of person that you're pissed at yourself, and, like, you need someone to tell you what to do, but, like, it might need to be in a firm way, but then there's people that they're down on themselves, and they're, like, losing all their confidence.
Yeah, like they need like the positivity.
They're just like
aspect.
drained, and they need someone to go up to them and be like, "Hey, like you got the next one. Like just keep working your ass off, like something like that."
Yeah, just making them feel like seen, even if like they're not like if they're not scoring all the goals today. Like hey, you're doing this and this though. Like just keep working, and you'll like be fine.
Yeah.
And that kind of goes off another thing that I wanted to ask. Like, talk about obviously in order to play, you know, you have to be fast, strong. You have to have all the physical intangibles. What kind of mindset do y'all carry on the field that kind of helps elevate you from, you know, an average player to a good player to a great player? What kind of mindset does that take? Kathryn, what would you say?
I think what I try to do is just go into every game with like the confidence of like, I'm good at lacrosse. Like I can go, like there's nobody out there that's like, oh, so amazing, like better than me that like they're gonna stop me. And it's also like knowing your role always. Like I try to not to let like certain games I'm like, oh, I can't shoot today or like something, and I try just to let myself think, all right, but I'm doing other things, and like I have 7 other girls like with me that I know are just as good, and like trying to just like a lot of people, like I feel like I bounce off of other people's confidence too, and that's kind of how I like carry myself with it.
Yeah, I would say that I kind of use the term like brain of a goldfish, because it's having the short-term memory of your mistakes in a game and just trying to get over everything as quickly as you possibly can. Like if you drop a ball, it didn't happen. You know, you're hustling back on defense and you're going to play good defense, like something like that. And I would agree with the owning the role too. I play midfield, so I play both defense and offense. And so in that role, there could be days that like I'm completely not there on offense, but if I'm playing like solid defense, I like am happy with myself. Or like I could be like terrible at defense one day, but scoring 5 goals on offense. And then it's kind of like, well, if I'm at least like putting my effort into something that's like a better outcome for the team, then I'm usually confident in myself still.
And I think that's something that gets overlooked a lot, especially like as you get into a higher level of sports, the players that need to know in a game, kind of like you said, like you don't have to score to make a difference. Mm-hmm. Like, you know, I don't know what it might be in lacrosse, but like the draw controls or forcing turnovers, like there are things that, or even things that don't even go on the stat sheet.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That could be you look at, you know, you might look at Kathryn's numbers and 0-0, but your impact on the field goes beyond that. And I think that's an issue that I think a lot of athletes kind of face as they get older and they start playing at higher levels. They think, well, I went out there and I'm a lacrosse player. When I was in high school, when I was a senior, I scored 10 goals a game. But now I come to IUP and I'm a freshman, or anywhere really, and I'm not scoring at all. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But kind of learning to accept that, figuring out what your role is, and kind of growing into that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, for sure.
So let's talk about your individual journeys as players and kind of what led y'all first here to IUP, and what, like, how did you get recruited? Did you walk on? how did that work? How did you start?
So I am definitely a little bit of like an interesting story for college athletics because I didn't get recruited.
Okay.
I was just coming to IUP literally just to be a student
student?
here. And then it was July, like right before I got here. I was like, you know what? I kind of like miss playing lacrosse. Like I feel like I'm gonna really miss being an athlete. So just like I was like, you know what? I'm gonna give it a shot. So I emailed Coach B and I was like, hey, any chance I can have a tryout? Like, and she was like, and apparently they usually like don't really like. She's like, yeah, sure, you know it. Like, come out to the first practice of the season
Nice.
and try out. And so I walked down at like at 6 a.m. It's pitch black. I don't know anybody on the team,
Oh, no.
and I'm like, all right. I'm
Freshman
here.
too?
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
a freshman. I don't know anyone. Like, I'm like, well, I haven't run in months.
Oh, no.
And I'm like, I'm here. I'm going to try it. It's like the scariest thing ever. But I just like worked really hard that first practice. And she pulled me aside like halfway through practice. She was like, yeah, you have a spot.
Oh, really?
I was like, all right, sweet.
Yeah.
But it's definitely very different than how most people get here because, I mean,
Yeah.
yours was very different.
Yeah, I was gonna say I was recruited. I'm from Wisconsin originally, and so I was recruited because the Midwest isn't big in lacrosse. So my opportunities were kind of out here,
Sure.
and Coach B reached out to me, and I came out for a visit when I was a junior, and then COVID happened, so it was kind of like
Okay.
that time of being unsure if I was gonna make it to college or if I was gonna have to like try to do something at home, and so I came out here,
Okay.
and that's how I got here. I got here through recruiting, but yeah, I was gonna say like hers is a good story.
Yeah, it's a very
too.
different one.
Yeah.
I mean, so I'm just trying to put myself in your perspective. Like, I mean, just kind of what was going through your mind, like as you, like you said, you were going to practice, so you didn't know anyone. Like, were you nervous?
Oh
Like,
my gosh, I was so
I
scared.
can't imagine.
Especially
You didn't
because
know
I am
anyone?
and I'm not like an outgoing person.
no.
I would say like
Okay.
to any extent. So I
Sure.
walked down there. I was like literally so
Yeah.
scared, and I'm just standing there like,
Well, I remember.
Is anybody gonna
she
say, like,
got there
hi?
earlier than all of us because she
I
lived
didn't-
in
oh,
a different
yeah.
dorm building than
Yeah.
we did.
Oh.
And so it's like pitch black, and we're in wall work all the way across campus. She's in like
Stevenson.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm
You
right
live in the
next-
trenches?
Yeah.
I live
right
in the
next
trenches
Yeah.
to
too.
the field house.
That's
And so
fine.
she got there before all the rest
Yeah.
of the freshmen did.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
we walked there and we saw her standing there, and we had heard that like we might be having someone coming to try out. And so
Interesting.
I saw
Yeah.
her and I was like, Are you Kathryn the
Yeah,
walk-on?
yeah. Emmy
Are you-"
introduced
Oh,
herself.
my God.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Walk-on?
Yeah, I was like, Are you Kathryn? And
Uh-huh.
she was like, Oh yeah. And I was like, Hey, we're the freshmen. Come
Yeah,
over.
I was
Right.
standing there
And
waiting
so-
for somebody to
Yeah,
talk to me.
it was because like I think all of our seniors were kind of confused too because they
Sure.
were like,
Yeah, I don't
like,
think Coach really fully
yeah, I
filled
don't
anyone
think
in on what
yeah.
exactly
So
was
you were
going
just kind
on.
of
So
like
I just
some-
showed up.
Just kind of
Yeah,
random, yeah.
yeah.
I mean, what was that like to have like a group of the freshmen that like kind of seemed like they welcomed you and were? I mean, that had to
Yeah,
help
it
too,
was
for
very
sure.
nice. Literally, like I talked to them that whole first practice, like added everybody on Snapchat, and then like Emme actually texted me that night. She's like, "Hey, do you want to come like hang out with us and like meet everyone?"
Yeah.
I was
We
like,
would
"Oh,
always walk her to her dorm
Yeah.
every night.
Oh,
and
yeah.
everything. Like, yeah. So yeah, she was over a lot, but no, we
yeah."
were able to get close really
It was
fast
it was a
from
really
that,
quick
so.
transition, and then I just
Yeah.
kind of started hanging out with them from then on.
And that's one thing too, like that I miss about from playing high school sports. Like when you're on a team, and it's kind of nice because when you're with players and people that you actually get along with. Like I've been on both teams where like we're cool and we play, but I've also noticed like to be on teams we're all really close, we're all really tight. Kind of how much of a difference does that make in your eyes and in your opinion? Like, did you understand? Have you been on teams
Yeah.
where like we're cool but not really versus teams that like we're all, you know what I mean?
Yes, that's kind of what I had touched on earlier. But like our freshman year, our team was
Yeah.
so close.
Sure.
Like we were like
We were literally
We-
together like 24/7.
we were together all the time and like voluntarily. Like we weren't being forced to be together.
Yeah.
We weren't doing like team bonding that coach was forcing us to do. It was like we were just constantly together, like
Yeah.
by choice. And that year, like it reflected on the field 100%.
Sure.
Like
Yeah. I mean,
our
that's the-
season we had like one of our best seasons we've had our whole 4
I
years
think it
here.
is the best season we've
Yeah.
had to here, just because
So-
I mean we all just wanted to be together every day. Every practice was fun because I was like, oh, I get to go hang out with 25 of my best friends, and like we all
Yeah.
just like that kind of carried over to the field too. It's like I want to show up because everyone else is here and playing. I want to play for them because they're all like my besties.
Yeah.
It's
So-
very. Oh, go ahead. I'm
No,
sorry.
but I was gonna say, so it definitely like I personally would say it reflects on performance 100%.
100%.
Yeah.
It's very interesting because when you have circumstances like that, it's like anytime you go out there and play, you're always giving it 110. But it's like that extra, like, you know what I'm saying? When you're
Mhm.
with people that you really
Yeah.
care about and in the off the field, it's like you know what I mean? Like it's like you're giving everything you have, but then you're like reaching deep down and you
Yeah.
know what I mean? Giving a little
Yeah.
bit more. So you mentioned that you're from Wisconsin. I mean, kind of, what's that like? I mean, what is that, like a couple, like 1,000 miles? Like, that's pretty far. So what's it like
Yeah, it's
kind of going from there
I
to
don't know
there?
how many miles it is, but it's 10 hours.
Is it different? Is there like a culture shock? Like, kind of what? How did that work for you?
Everyone told me I spoke weirdly.
Yeah, she
Really?
has a little bit of an
First time
accent.
in which I, like, year 4, now you can't really tell
I
as
can't
much.
tell.
But I, like, right off the bat, everyone was like, you speak so weird. And then when we did introduction, I was like, I'm from Wisconsin. And everyone's like, Wisconsin!
Yeah,
Like,
Wisconsin.
and everyone, like, yells at me, like, Wisconsin! I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, but it's, like, a little different. But I honestly think I expected to be coming here and it to be more like, I don't even know what you would say, like, metropolitan area, but, like, I live in
Indiana's
more of a
not.
metropolitan area in Wisconsin than, like,
Okay.
I did coming here.
Yeah.
So, because I'm from right outside Milwaukee, so,
Okay.
like, I live in a city there, and
Sure.
then I came here, and I've come to find it's just mountains and nature.
Yeah.
And I like it, but it's just,
Yeah.
that part was a little,
And I was looking where you're from. You're from like the Pennsylvania, like Maryland border.
Yeah,
so,
I'm right on the border. Yeah.
Are there any differences in Indiana from where you're from? Like,
Not really, because I live kind of like I live like 30 minutes below York and 30 minutes above Baltimore, so I'm
Okay,
kind
so
of
you're
very
close
much
to
in
the
like
city.
a,
Yeah.
but like my town is like super small, like it's
It's like,
very
yeah.
like relatable to Indiana, so I was kind of used to it.
Y'all ever been to Pittsburgh?
Yeah.
What do you think? Like Pittsburgh?
I like Pittsburgh. I think it's similar to Milwaukee.
Okay.
A little bigger than Milwaukee, but, like, very similar
Yeah.
in a lot of ways. Yeah.
I'm from Pittsburgh, and anytime anyone ever comes on the podcast and like I talk to them, I always tell them like, it's the most beautiful, greatest city on earth. Like, I love it. It's the best.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's nice. Okay. So, kind of as we wrap things up here, obviously you're only 3 games into conference play. What kind of mindset are y'all carrying into the rest of the season to kind of continue to like get better, I guess, and have a successful season?
I honestly think we're just carrying the mindset of, like, confidence for the
Sure.
whole rest of the season. Like, we have all of the tools to do what we need to do. We're just kind of working on how to build what we need to build to be the team that we know we can be. And I think that as the season is going on, we're getting closer. We're all, like, figuring out how everyone works on the field and off the field, and we're making adjustments as time goes on. And I think with those adjustments, it's going to, like, cause us to have a much better second half of conference coming up. So I think, like, confidence is just, like, the biggest thing that we need to have, like, going into it, especially because we know we have so much potential to do, like, really good things. We just, like, really need to, like, have it translate onto the field.
Yeah, I feel like we just need to, like, we're just focusing on building, like, every game, like, just getting better every single time, because, like, it's nice that with our conference we get to play everyone twice. It's annoying, but it's also nice because now we get to, like, okay, we lost to Seton Hill, we know how we can build from that, and we know that, like, we can do better than we did last time, and, like, coming off this game from Slippery Rock, they're beatable, like, 100%. We just have to show up, like, for longer than we did. Like, we, like, definitely, like, we played well against them. It's not that we played a bad game, so it's, like, using that as, like, all right, only up from here, like, just keep building every game.
Yeah.
And that's a good and I would say mostly a good feeling whenever you play a team and you lose to them, but like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
When you have a game and when you have a loss, especially in conference, like, does it make you upset for like do you not talk for like the next 24 hours? Like, kind of how do you go about like after the fact when you have a tough loss, especially like that?
Sort of, yeah.
I feel like we go on a little rant
It's
for like an
definitely
hour.
a rant, for sure.
Yeah.
And then it's kind of like,
On a bus.
okay, put it away. But then it's like,
Yeah.
we come back out. No, but then this happened.
Yeah.
That really pissed me off. And then, like,
We'll be in the
put
kitchen
it
like
away
the
for a
next
little bit.
yeah.
There was our game after Seton Hill. We literally, like, we lived together, and then Maggie, another one of the seniors, lives with us too. And we were talking in our living room, and then Maggie just goes, I think I'm going to need to 5-minute all of us right now. We're done in 5 minutes. We have 5 minutes to talk about this, and then we're done.
Okay,
and then like, we, like, 5 minutes went by, we were done, and then, like, 10 minutes later, she's like,
okay, but
yeah, but then this happened, and then we're like, okay, well.
Yeah, it's just kind of like, I think we process it all and, like, get the, like, anger out. I'm like, oh my god, I'm so annoyed that we just lost that.
Yeah.
Like, I'm pissed off. And then once that settles, you're like, all right, but we didn't do that bad. And, like, then it kind of, we're good.
It's very rarely as bad as you think it is right after, and that's why, like, they talk about, like, for, like, the media, right? When you have a game and they call it a cool down period. Like you can't talk to the players for 20 minutes after the game. It's because like that. Like when it first happens, like your mind's racing, you got a lot of thoughts going on, and then afterwards you're like, man, you know what? I really thought I messed up that play really bad, but then you could like watch the film. You're like, actually, you know, it still wasn't good, but like you know what I mean, it wasn't that bad. So yeah, that's good. I mean, so what's worse in your opinion, though, like a loss where you lose by 10 plus goals or a loss where you lose in like overtime? Like, what stings more? I would
Honestly,
say probably overtime
overtime,
stings more
because like we're losing by 10. I'm like I have mental time to process it during the game. I'm like, all right, we lost the game. It's fine, whatever. But like when it's overtime, I'm like, damn. Like when that goal goes in, like that hurts for a while
and
after.
Our team historically on overtime,
we're terrible.
So bad at overtime. Like our freshman year, Seton Hill.
Yeah.
Wait,
we beat Lock Haven and Seton Hill in overtime.
Yeah, in overtime. Year. That was the last time in our whole career since this year's Shepherd that we beat a team in overtime.
Oh, yeah, so there was a long period of a lot of losses in overtime that really hurt.
Overtime
losses.
Yeah.
Well, like you talk about how good overtime win feels. Like overtime losses feel
the feeling after Shepherd was amazing.
Yes.
Sure.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Well. Thank y'all so much for joining us, taking time after practice.
We're committed.
Y'all ran over here. Y'all was running to practice. Y'all ran over here. We really appreciate y'all taking time to come be on a podcast with us. Wish y'all best of luck for the rest of the season. And thank you, everyone, for watching. Make sure y'all tune in for the next episode. And yes, see you later.